Good evening and welcome to the Blend Zone. I'm your host, Big Mama D, bringing you the vibe straight, no chaser.
Welcome to the Blend Zone, the podcast where culture, conversation, and creativity collide. Hosted by the one and only Big Mama D. From real talk to breaking news, music, and untold stories, we go deep, speak bold, and bring voices that matter to the mic. Whether you're on the move or kicking back, you're now in the zone. The Blend Zone. Let's get into it.
Okay, so good evening and welcome to the Blend Zone. I am your host, Big Mama D, bringing you the vibe straight with no chaser. Today we have a special guest in the building, and his name is Wendell Stowers. He is into real estate, but I will let him introduce himself to you.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Like she said, Wendell Stowers with Stowers Realty, LLC. I am a realtor and also an IT business intelligence analyst as well. I do wear several hats with those careers and then also with my organizations as well. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I am the director of Bigger and Better Business for that organization. I'm part of the 100 Black Men organization, and me and some good brothers here in San Antonio have a nonprofit called Man Cave SA, in which I'm a board member and secretary of that.
Okay. Well, that's a long one still. Okay, sir. So let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start your business, and what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I've always been into real estate ever since I was younger, picking up the little real estate books and stuff like that, looking at the houses. I always knew it was something that I wanted to do. I just waited till I left Ohio and got down here to Texas, where it's a little bit more profitable and a little bit more affordable for others and for different families for them to come to. The vast majority of companies that we have here in Texas is definitely a great move for anyone that wants to come to Texas. So that's something that got me into it. And then, of course, my big why of I love helping people. I love helping people find their dream home. That does drive me, and it's just something that I like to do.
Okay. I know you're into real estate, so at this point in time, do you see more military people buying homes and stuff right now?
Yes, well, right now in particular, not as much, but they should be here probably in the next couple of weeks, as we're getting ready to enter in what's known as PCS season. So there will be an influx of new military folks that will need homes. So I am here to help them with whatever their needs are, whatever their home needs are.
Okay. So tell me, what relative experience did you have before doing real estate?
I have been in the IT world for going on 13 years now. So I still have my IT job. I've been in real estate since 2018. So I've been a realtor since then, and then I branched off and got my LLC up under LPT Realty. So that is who I'm with. That is actually my broker. And then, like I said, I created my LLC just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. So what in this business ownership attracted you? What made you want to do this?
It's the flexibility for me, the flexibility, and to be able to, you are your own business. So as you go, your business will go. So, what you put into it is what you will get out of it. Some people think it's easy. It's definitely work. It's definitely hard work. But, if you have the right systems put in place and build your systems, you'll find a little bit of ease and then a little bit of flow, a little ebb and flow that you can use to get potential clients.
Okay. And have your perspective of success, has it changed over time?
I can say yes. I think I was sharing someone before previously that success for me, I'm always trying to climb that mountain of success. However, I had someone put this to me, just the fact that I made it where I'm from and out of Ohio and out of the rough part of Cincinnati, that's a success within itself. And then what I'm doing, me being a father and a husband, and that's a success as well. So.
Okay, so we know that real estate is your primary source, and you said that you do other things. What were those again?
Yes, so the IT is what I do as well. I'm an IT business intelligence analyst, so I do that. And the other things are with the 3 organizations that I'm a part of. I'm a very much an advocate about financial literacy in our Black community, which is why I am the director of Bigger and Better Business for the fraternity. And so we do different things like adopt Black businesses. We honor different Black businesses every month for the work they're doing, not just with their business, but also in the community as well. We have our Project Vita initiative to where we help people with their taxes, things of that nature. A few different things we've got going.
I remember a few years ago, before I went to Florida, they used to have the Vita classes there at not classes, but offices at the Claude Black Center. Still there?
No, not that I am aware of. There is a center over there in San Pedro. I can't remember the name of it. I have to ask my frat brother because I usually have one of my committee members. They usually head that initiative up for Project Vita, and they do the classes, get the course classes, and then they usually help people.
Okay. Can you just I said I wouldn't worry. How do you go out there and find your clients?
For me, I do. There's several things you can do. Hold open houses. Sometimes I will do that. Door knock individually in different neighborhoods, and then also too, I have these systems in place. We have what's called a CRM. Which is a customer relationship management tool. So I just feed that pipeline with different people I know, and then I get clients through that. And then of course there's the old faithful social media, Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff.
So I know social media helps out a whole lot with getting things out there, but if we didn't have social media, I think the best way that you are doing this would have been word of mouth. Okay. So I know we spoke of just social media, but how else does technology play in your business?
Using AI, believe it or not, to complete some tasks and to actually speed up some tasks that you do on like a daily basis, that tremendously helps out. Especially in this AI-driven world that we are in. So using those tools, and then like I said, just our CRM system, Lofty, that we have with LPT Realty, that is a big help.
Okay. What are your key performance indicators, the KPIs, and how do you keep track of them?
My key
business.
Yeah, I do it more with the IT than I do with the real estate. For me, I don't really have those specific key indicators. For me, it's just all relative to helping the client. When you're finding people who need help, finding a home, sometimes I do rentals for friends of friends. So I do those too sometimes as well. But I'm all about getting people in our community into homes.
Okay. Well, how do you handle difficult situations or conflicts within your businesses?
Not taking it personal. That's the first and foremost thing. Just sometimes you have to take a step away, and sometimes you got to go on a walk. Clear your mind, clear your head, and refocus. So I actually do that every day. Or almost every day. Of course, some of the days I don't when it's raining, but normally every day I do have some time where I just go on a walk and I just clear my mind, or have things that I need to think about, and I can kind of, conjure up that within that time of me walking. So, I'm getting that healthy walk in and getting that vitamin D as well. So.
Mm-hmm. I know I do a lot of research on YouTube and sometimes Twitter, well, X.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you stay updated on the industry trends and best practices?
We take courses. We have to take courses basically every year to renew your license. You have to renew your license every 2 years. So you have to stay aflux on what's going on. And then for those industries, we do have those weekly trainings. We do have weekly update calls on Motivation Mondays. And then also too, I get TDLR newsletter. That is, anybody in business should get that newsletter, because it kind of breaks down the important things that are going on, not just in the tech world, but in the business world in general, and not just real estate either. And then also Inman. Inman is another newsletter that gives a lot of different information on what's going on in the real estate industry specifically.
Okay. So what have your biggest challenges have you faced as a business owner?
One right now really is selling this condo. That's been my biggest challenge so far, honestly, is trying to get this. There's a condo that is for sale. It does need a little bit of work. I am trying to get this seller to this seller's home or condo, should I say, to get off the market. It's going for $75K, but the seller is really, really willing to take a little bit of a lower offer if offered. So that's been my biggest hurdle. I've never probably had a listing sit on the market this long, so that's been the biggest challenge.
So how long has it been sitting on the market?
It's been sitting on the market since October.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and it is a fixer-upper.
Yep, fixer-upper. So definitely, if any investors, if you know any investors, or if anybody listening knows any investors that's interested, it is in the Wood Lake Parkway area near Converse, so located in some condominiums right over that way. So
yeah, I know a few real estate people out there on the outskirts of Houston. Maybe interested. I'll let them know. How big is the condo?
It is a 2-bedroom condo. There's an upstairs, downstairs, and it's got a balcony and everything. And they made updates to the living room and the fireplace. They do need to add the shower wall back into the condo. But other than that, yeah.
Not a lot to do. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll try to help you out. I can't buy it. I wish I could. I can't.
Understandable.
I can just dream about it. Okay, so what are your biggest failures and what have you learned from them?
My biggest failures, I would say, really just not. I would say not getting here to Texas sooner. That was probably my biggest failure, because my life could have got out to a whole better start if I would jumped out of Ohio a lot sooner and got down here on a better track, and got myself to the point to where I don't feel like now, because I am in my 40s, that I'm trying to do it all and do everything that I should have been doing in my 20s and 30s there. So
that's that hindsight that we have.
yep.
I could have, would have, should have, but I didn't. Yeah, so, where do you see yourself in your business in 5 years?
See myself in, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that last part.
I'm sorry. Where do you see yourself in your business in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, my goal is, I really don't have a super high goal. My goal is really just to help 1 or 2 families a month. If I can help at the minimum 1 or 2 families a month get into a new home, that is successful enough for me and gratifying enough for me. So.
Good. I know you dealing with getting people in homes. Do you get them into foreclosed homes?
Did you say foreclosed homes?
Yes.
Yes, I can help people get foreclosed homes, short sale homes. I am certified in that as well, so I can do either one of those. If people are looking for foreclosures, I do have my methods, a way of looking and through the county and before they actually go foreclose to see what's available. So.
Okay, now do you help people that want to put their homes on Section 8?
That I have not come across thus far, although I don't think it's too much of a hassle. It's something that I could probably do, but that's something that I have not done thus far.
Okay. So, what advice would you give someone starting their own business?
A little bit of a lot of what I said before. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. You have to have a faith of the size of a mustard seed, and God can help you do those things. However, faith without works is dead, that old saying. So you got to put in the work. So as long as you're willing to put in the work, put in the time, it does take some sacrifices, especially if you really, really want to do well within this industry. You are going to have to sacrifice some of your time. Sometimes you may not be able to go to kids' games. Sometimes you may have to miss out on whatever party or the trips. Sometimes you have to miss out on that stuff, but it's what you make it.
Yeah. So, is there anything you would do differently if you were to start over again?
If I was to start over, I probably would just, and this is a big thing too for anybody starting in real estate, I probably would make sure that I have at least 6 months to a year of money saved up, so that way I can jump fully just into real estate and just strictly do real estate. That would probably be something that I would, do all over again.
Okay. I know you have your own business. So how many people do you have working for you?
No one right now. It's actually just me. Eventually I'll be looking to expand when I get some other things going. I will look to actually have my own brokerage, and then I'll expand that way and get some other people up under me. Right now I just have the LLC to help with tax purposes and things of that nature for things that I do on a real estate basis. So.
And I was reading up one time on grants and stuff. Excuse me. And there was this grant that the government would give you and you would not have to pay it back. And they will help you find a building that you wanted to work with. All you had to do was to promise to hire 7 people within 5 years, and you would not have to pay anything back. I've been trying to find that. It's real good.
Yeah.
And they will help you with everything. I mean, with the building, getting you set up, all of this stuff. I've been looking for that again.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome.
I think I went the simple route. I think it was grant.com.
Okay.
And I have to find it in there. I know there's a lot of grants out there from black owners, for black people that wants to start. But a lot of us just don't know how to get started, with the grants. I even got a book on grant writing. I was serious for a second, yes. And there's a lot of grants out there for women that wants to get started in their own businesses. There was a place over there on New Bronson Street. But I've been away from San Antonio for like 3 or 4 years, so I don't know where all these places are anymore.
Okay.
I was up onto it. But the people that do the Taste of New Orleans.
Oh, the Zulu, yes.
Zulu. They know a lot of things about the free grants and stuff for black people. So you may want to check it out into that, call them up if you can. Or you may know someone in it already. Just a little tidbit I do in there.
Okay. Yeah, I do need to check back into that, some grants. We actually, because I learned about some grants that I can get. I just need to delve a little further. Because we actually co-hosted with the SBA, my fraternity and man cave. We had the SBA come talk about how to get business grants or grants for small businesses, should I say. So it was very informative.
I try to go to many black businesses as I can. We don't support each other like everyone else support their people.
Right.
It's a sad thing. Even though we're all a little bit more expensive, but we have to be in order to try to have a fair standing with everybody else. So if people understand that much, then I think we'll get a whole lot further along.
Yeah.
So what is the most challenging aspect of owning your own business?
I would say getting clients is really and that really depends on the product that you have. But yeah, getting clients is putting in the work to get the clients that's probably the most challenging part of it. Everything else can be worked out. Some challenges can be worked with the different contracts when you do have people backing out of deals, or when you got to try to extend deals, or when you go on that 5th hour and you got to extend options or things of that nature. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
I felt it coming. I'm like, no, don't come. And it said, no, I'm coming. I said, no, don't come. He said, no, I'm coming. And it came. Oh. Okay, sorry. But thank you so much. What are your personal values, and how do they influence your business decisions?
I kind of mentioned it earlier, but my mom always sold this into me. We are put on this earth to help people. So that's one of the things that I like to do. I like to help people. I'm really, really big on service, which is why I do what I do, and then also why I'm in the organizations that I am in as well. It's a lot about service for me, and then also too, networking as well. I love the network. Men, women, it don't matter. I'm all about networking and pushing us forward as a people, because who else is going to do it? Ain't nobody else out there rooting for us but us. So, I am I am very high on that. I reach out to people. I'm not afraid to get into people's inboxes, introduce myself, like say, hey, hey, what do you have going on? I'm trying to network or come out to this event, or tell me a little bit more about your business. I'm not afraid to do that at all. So
it's a lot easier for men to go into people's inboxes than it is for women.
mm,
I say that from experience because with me trying to get more people to join the group, the blend zone and stuff,
mm-hmm.
I saw this one man. I love saxophones. I said, I like his music. So I just went into his inbox and tried to get him to see if he wouldn't mind coming up to the blend zone. And this woman found it. Why are you trying to talk to my man? You need to talk. I was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. It was totally innocent. I don't want your man.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. But it's easier for men to do that than it is for women.
And I understand that aspect. Just whether man or woman, some people automatically think just because you are reaching out in their inbox or whatever, or wishing them well, or happy birthday, something that you're trying to get with them, and that's not my case. I'm a happily married man, with 4 kids. I just, like I said, I'm all about positivity. I'm all about networking. I'm all about shining light on people's businesses. Because I feel like the more you give that, the more you will get back. So
yes. I'm thinking that it could be just the younger generation or the generation these days. Something in the water, something in the food, but they're crazy. You understand? They're crazy.
Yep.
You can't go on Instagram and for men, they can't like another person's picture. They probably didn't take a beautiful picture, but the women gonna think, you like it on that woman. Why are you doing that? Like, come on, and vice versa for the men.
Yeah.
There's something in the water. It has to be too much fluoride or something, and it's killing it.
And I really heart everything for algorithms and different things like that. Try to comment here and there on different people's stuff if they're doing something positive, And if you know anything about social media and you're trying to, generate more, more traffic on your page, and that's things that you need to do.
Yes. But you can't talk to people these days. Oh, well. What are your routines and how do you balance work and your personal life?
Oh man, that's been the challenge, me trying to balance everything out, me trying to balance me taking a more concerted effort to pay attention to my health a little bit more within this past year. So I've been doing that more, taking a little bit more time out to go to the gym, get those walks in. Because I always would do the walks, but, also make sure I include some time to get the gym in. I may not be able to go every day or the 5 days a week all the time, but, if I can do it, I do it, and then, considering I have a young one, it's setting out that time to do things with him too, because we can't. It's another thing that I've heard too. We can't ask to have these families and make these kids, and then not spend time with them at all. So that's one thing that I have to try to. I always have to remind myself, because I am a go-getter. I am I got to do this, got to take care of that. So sometimes I just have to block off time or say, hey, you know what? This day I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to relax or spend time with the family, spend time with my wife, spend time with the kids. So, got to do that sometimes.
I think with our drive to want to do better for our family members, we tend to forget that we have the family members. That makes sense.
Total sense. Total sense. it's a gift and a curse, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean, you spend time with your family, but when you are an ambitious person and you're also always trying to, you know what I mean, do more to put your family in a better position, you know, sometimes you can get lost in that. And I'm not ashamed to say that, yeah, I do, you know, sometimes get lost in that, and sometimes I need reeling back in from that.
Yeah.
So
And it's kind of hard to split that line between family and business. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Just hope they understand that I'm doing it now, but I'll have time in the future. You know, it's going to change. Once I get my foot in that door and it's solid, well, hopefully they'll understand when they're little.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, I know you spoke earlier about your fraternity, and they do a lot for the community and stuff, and we didn't elaborate on it too much. And so can you please do that now?
All right, yeah, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. We are part of the D9. We do have, culture for service, service for humanity is our motto. And then our programs that we have a social action program. So that's everything that has to do with voting and also good health wins. We have our education program where we go into different schools. We do have adopted schools that we do help out throughout the San Antonio area. And then we have our Sigma Beta Club. That's our youth auxiliary program where we take young men 8 to 18 and we take them out, you know, to do different things as far as showing them manhood and taking the last thing we did take them to, I want to say, was a game. It was a game. I can't remember the game it was. A Spurs game. Spurs game is the last thing we took them to. And then lastly, we have my program, which is our oldest program, the Bigger and Better Business Program. And that was sought out, more or less what I was saying earlier, to teach financial literacy in our community, making sure you're good with your finances, investments, teaching people real estate, teaching people about credit repair, taxes, all the above. So I will have a seminar, a real estate seminar coming up here April 4th that I will be holding, and I'll be putting out all the information for that. But it'll be a real estate seminar showing people how to buy a house, but also I'll have a mortgage lender there. I will have a credit repair person there, and I will have one of my frats will be talking about life insurance, and then another person will talk about just financial literacy in general, managing your finances.
Now, if I still had kids, praise God, I don't. They're all grown. Thank you, Jesus. But if I still had the kids, how do I get the kids associated with your fraternity?
You can send me an email. My email is wmstowers@yahoo.com, and I'll get you directed to the right people. Or you can send it to president@bbs1914. You can send it to that email as well if you are interested, if you know anyone interested in getting their kids involved.
Okay. All right.
Also, too, there is the other organization, Man Cave SA. We have our Adopt a Son program as well. For ages 8 through 18, we have that particular program. But Man Cave SA in general, we kind of focus on a little bit of that. We call them the lost generation, which is like that 18 through 28, because nobody's showing them the way. You know what I mean? They don't always know the way, the proper ways to be a man, the proper ways to go about trades, the proper ways to go about careers, school, different things like that. So we are here for that generation as well.
Okay. Now, for these young men that want to change their life around and get out of the games and stuff, and they seem to be having a problem trying to get out of it, Is there any kind of way that you could help young men like that?
Yes, it is. I have my ways of talking to different people as like, for one, I spent my time in the street life as well. So, I mean, being able to connect with those young men and just teaching them from a point of view of I've been there, done that. So, just trying to show them that that's not the way, and just showing them different paths, of ways that they can go. That would be my way of telling them and showing them. So, and then we do a lot of leading by example. Iron sharpens iron is one of our mottos with Man Cave SA. So.
Okay, now I know this is gonna sound a little crazy, but the name Man Cave USA, it makes us female think, ooh, a lot of men is gonna be there. Can I visit sometime? Us women that don't like dealing with, females.
Yeah.
Because females are treacherous. I can tell you that. I'm a female, and I don't deal with females. Do your fraternity have a sister sorority that they deal with? Like, how can I put it? I forgot the name of it. You have, like you have Eastern Star, I think that's what you call it, and then the male version of that is, you know what I'm saying? I forgot the male version.
Masons.
Masons, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have a female version?
Female version wise of Phi Beta Sigma is our sisters. We are the only constitutionally bound fraternity and sorority. So that would be, say, the Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Those are our sisters. They are lock in step with us with everything that we are doing, as well as we are lock in step with them. So a lot of our initiatives, we focus on some of those same things throughout the community. So you get that from a female aspect on that end. As far as Man Cave SA, we don't have a sister organization. However, we do try to partner with different organizations around SA that we are looking to partner with. And specifically, we will be looking this year. Kita's Place is a really great organization that focuses on young women. So we will be looking to partner with them on some things as well. So we got different groups, but the thing with us is there are so many women's groups out here, so many women's. You all got groups for everything. Back when we started this in 2020, there wasn't really no men's groups in San Antonio like that to where, and that's why we started it, just to get away from the monotony, just somewhere, where brothers can have a safe space to talk about all things brotherhood, talking about all things in manhood, and create a safe space. And that's something that, women have had for a while now, I think. And so, it was about time we created our space to do that.
Yeah, I guess you can let your men have something.
Oh, shout out to another one. Another good partner of mine, Bruce, that owns Trist Kitchen and Cocktails, him and Josh, they have something called the Eagle's Nest that they do every first Tuesday, where men get together and they talk about a variety of range of different topics. Well, he has now started, because the women asked, like you said, he's now started something called the Phoenix Circle for the women. I have to get the exact dates. I think then theirs may be the second week, but I'll follow up with him to see exactly when that is. But they now have that for the women, so they have their place to share their stories as well. So.
Okay, but it is okay for some of us females to sneak into your men's group Just to listen?
Well, here's the thing. The Eagle's Nest and the Phoenix Circle, eventually they're going to get to a place where it's a male and female forum. So they're looking to do that. Where it'll be like an event, like a weekend event. So they'll be doing that. As far as the man cave or whatever, when we have social events, yeah, women are more than welcome to come. Like this weekend, we are having a barbecue at Meadowland Park. So we invite all men to come out. This is just a men's thing. But when we have our annual barbecue fundraiser, that's when we have women, kids, everyone come out. So.
And he says at Meadowland Park?
55 Meadowland Drive. It's Universal City.
And it's for any man?
Yep.
Do not have to be in a fraternity?
Nope. No, this is and this is through Man Cave SA. So the Man Cave SA is a 501c nonprofit. So.
And this is in University City?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a few men that needs to be around more positive men. Maybe I can convince them to at least look you up on the website and not go out there. Because a lot of men that I know of, they like sit in the house all the time, and they need to get out and be around other men, be around testosterone and maybe be more manly.
Tell them to look us up at themancavesa.org. That is our website.
And it's a barbecue?
Yep.
What time does it start?
It's from 1 to 4 on Sunday. Sunday the 22nd.
Sunday the 22nd. Sunday going to be nice. University, I got it all written down. Good. Okay, so let me see here. I believe we have answered all my questions.
Okay.
So, if there was one thing that you could say to all the people that wanted to get out there and to get off into real estate, before I ask that, do you recommend them going to classes, or will they just go out there on their own and start? Do you have to have your license to do this?
Yes. You have to have your license. You have to go take the courses and get licensed into it. And then while you're doing it, I would say build those connections, network with people, and then once you get your license, lead generate, and find a broker who is really willing to train you, help you with training. I will say I started off with Keller Williams. I'm with LPT Realty now. Those are two of the best places you can go to that have the training that will show you the things to do to be successful. So.
Okay, now to my question. Last thing you want to tell people that want to start their own business. What would you tell them?
Be vigilant. Be vigilant. Do your research, and also do your SWOT analysis in whatever business that it is. Make sure you have a business plan and do that SWOT analysis. Make sure you look up grants and the different avenues that you can get for money. And then once you get that business going, looking at business credit as well. So build your relationship with the banks and network. So.
Got to network. Okay, so that would be a wrap on today's episode with the magnificent, smart, very intelligent Wendell Stowers.
Thank
you
for
being our guest this week. Thank you for dropping by. And remember, I'm your host, Big Mama D, reminding you to stay bold, stay blended, and always keep it real. Until next time, see ya. Have fun and enjoy yourself. And thank you once again for coming by, Mr. Wendell.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This was great.
Ah, it was. And you're welcome.